The volume begins just before the Uncanny X-Men meet the all-new X-Men, and it centers around several key characters. The first being Benjamin Deeds, who after a confrontation with Cyclops is trained by Emma Frost to use his powers to influence others around him. Emma then sends him to a S.H.I.E.L.D. base in order to deliver a message. Later, Kitty Pryde and the all-new X-Men team up with the Uncanny X-Men for a girls' night out. They head to London and proceed to go shopping. However, things quickly become problematic when an Inhuman shows up, who attacks them. Later, AIM captures the Inhumans for testing. Elsewhere, Magneto journeys to Madripoor after visiting a mutant pep rally. There he meets Agent Dazzler, who Magneto discovers is being used for a mutant growth hormone, which is being sold on the black market. He attempts to track the owners of Madripoor, leading to several cameo appearances from the members of his Brotherhood. It's revealed that Mystique is behind everything and has built a new Genosha, or Utopia, for mutants. Magneto is disgusted by this and leaves, and breaks out on his own. The students of the Uncanny X-Men team find themselves stranded by their teachers during a training exercise. The team attempt to find a way back to their teachers and figure out where they are, all the while escaping from monsters, strange creatures, and S.H.I.E.L.D. During the training exercise, Eva mysteriously disappears, and Hijack uses a phone, which results in Cyclops kicking him off the team and his school. Finally, the Uncanny X-Men later learn that the Shire have taken the original X-Men and Kitty Pryde. We flash back to just after the events of Battle of the Atom. Adric brings Kitty to the X-Men team. However, Kitty attempts to kill Cyclops for the death of Charles Xavier. However, Cyclops tells Kitty that the Phoenix was controlling him, which persuades Kitty to ask for help with protecting the original X-Men. What I liked about this volume was there is a lot of character development in this volume, particularly with the younger characters of the team. And it's really a character-driven volume than it is a story-driven volume. He gives character development for characters like Benjamin Deed and Eva and Magneto, and all of these different characters that really needed character building. Because I wasn't sure what who Benjamin Deed was as a character, or really what his power set was. In the last two volumes, Benjamin was a character that we really hadn't got to know. He was always there in the background, because Benjamin Deed was definitely one of those characters who needed some character development. And Benjamin Deed's power set, for those who don't know, is he can sort of morph into other people. But he also has another ability, or a secondary ability, where he can control the chemicals that sort of calm a person down. And he can basically make a person fall in love with him, or make a person really, really happy. And I sort of thought that was a very, very cool power, because a lot of the members on Cyclops' team have abilities that are very active. They sort of do a lot more and sort of have a lot more firepower. And yet you have a character who sort of has a very passive power. He's able to use his power to influence others. And I really liked that, because the X-Men have always been a very, very diverse team, and have always had very, very diverse sets of powers. And I think Benjamin Deed is the first character on Cyclops' team in Marvel now that sort of represents that, and I really, really liked that. Another good character development was shown with Magneto. And Magneto really, really needed this character development. Although issue 16 was setting up Magneto to go into his own comic, I definitely think we needed to see Magneto. We needed to see a Magneto-centric story, whether in his own series or in Uncanny X-Men. I think the discussion needed to be had. Magneto has very much changed as a character, and Magneto has always been, especially if you've watched the movies, watched the TV series, and read the comics, Magneto has always been a figurehead. It's very important to have Magneto say, and how he also feels about Xavier and his death. Like, Xavier was one of Magneto's closest friends, and the fact that no one's mentioned it before is really surprising. And I really liked what Bendis does with Magneto in this issue. I also think it's really good that we finally get a payoff for the Mystique story. In All New X-Men, Mystique attempted to buy Madripoor, and we see that payoff in this volume. Madripoor has now essentially become the new Genova for the mutant community. I really thought it was really good that we finally had Mystique's story paying off a bit more. And I also really loved some of the cameo of the Brotherhood of Mutants. Just some really good storytelling is done there, I think. Another part of the volume that I really enjoyed was the issue 15, where it's centered on all of the female characters from All New X-Men and Uncanny X-Men. It's such a fun issue, and such a fun part of the volume. it's such a simple concept. All of the female X-Men going out and having a girls' night out. And they go shopping, have fast food. It's also a tie-in to Inhumanity. I don't know what happened to that Inhumanity, event. It kind of people just sort of stopped talking about Inhumanity. Which is the aftermath of Infinity. And a little bit of parallel between the mutant community and the Inhumanity community is sort of briefly discussed here. Which was very, very interesting. This volume also made me really like Eva. And no, that's not because I happen to have a niece called Eva. I really liked issue 17 with the fact that all of the students go on this training exercise. And I really liked the focus on the young team. And sort of what they do with some of the characters is very interesting. For example, the Stepford sisters. I love the fact that Bendis has given them different coloured hairstyles. Because not only has it helped identify which characters are which, but it also gives them personalities, I think. Which, although yes, the whole point of the Stepford sisters is that they're triplets and they have a hive mind. But I think giving them personalities just makes them more likable. And it's so simple. Just do that and you suddenly change characters for the better. Now, the reason why I like Eva is because I like the direction Bendis is going with. Eva seems to have been displaced in time. She's obviously gone somewhere that she didn't mean to go, and has discovered something that is definitely going to be interesting to read about in Volume 4. And I'm really, really curious about what happened to Eva and where she went. The only flaw I have, or I can see, is issue 18 and some of the artwork. Issue 18 really dropped the ball, I think. Issue 18 just had a very confusing panel layout. I could not follow that part of the story. It was just really, really confusing, and I didn't like it. And I think it broke the momentum of the story a little, and Emma has a tantrum in this issue, or in this volume. I can't remember if it's related to Jean Grey, but I really, really did not like Emma having this tantrum. And I felt issue 18 was a bit of a weak part of the volume. I would give this volume a 4 out of 5. Issue 18 really does drop the grade a little, but also some of the artwork was not consistent, and that has been a complaint with Volume 2. Like issue, I believe it's issue 15 had a different artwork that made some of the characters look older. Although I still really liked that issue, the artwork didn't really gel me. But overall, a really good volume, and I am very much looking forward to Volume 4.